The cursed samurai Muramasa blades. Swords are a very important part of Japanese culture and Japanese history. In Japan, swords are actually not just a weapon, but it's actually a partner. So the warrior and his sword, they have a really, really close connection. So it is also very important for warriors to know that the sword is being forged by the right person, because it is said that for every blade that the blacksmith would actually create, they put a part of themselves in it. So their courage, their heart, their spirit actually also goes into the sword. And so if the person is good, then that sword is good. Now there's one particular blade, sword called the Muramasa Blades that is very, very popular in Japan. And the first swordsmith was actually of that blade was actually named Muramasa Sengo, and he was once among the greatest famed swordsmith during the feudal Japan. So he devoted his entire life perfecting the craft, and eventually he became so popular that he started building his own school on how to become a blacksmith. But and he became very, very popular for the quality of the blade and the sharpness of the blade. But his creations are actually also cursed. So some people said that Muramasa was so hell-bent in becoming the best swordsmith of all time that he prayed to anybody who would listen that he be granted the greatest skill, the skill to become the greatest swordsmith of all time. And it is said that it was the devil that was listening, and so he granted the wish, but he cursed each blade that he would make. And so a part of a bad spirit would actually possess the blade that he would create. That makes it very sharp, but it also has other consequences. Now, there's also another aspect of it, and which I already mentioned, that a part of the swordsmith actually goes into the blade. And it is said that Muramasa himself would actually go berserk every now and then. Like, he has these mood swings that would make him a very dangerous man to be around whenever he goes into this mood, whenever he goes into a berserk. He would just kill anybody within reach. Now, the intensity of his anger, the energy of his anger also gets transferred into the sword that he would make, making it very, very sharp, very strong, but also very dangerous. Now, there are different tales, different legends, and different stories about how the curse works. One of those is that the swords have the tendency to actually possess the wielder. So instead of the warrior controlling the sword, it's the sword that controls the warrior. The other is that, and so that's why they go berserk. So they go into this rage because the sword is actually wielding them, and the sword wants to do its job, and that is to kill. Another says that the swords actually grant superhuman strength and immunity to anybody who uses it, although it's temporary. And then one last theory is that the swords would give its wielder, or the warrior, superior, unparalleled swordmanship. Now, there is this stories of different warriors who would own the Muramasa blade, and they would have the unquenchable thirst to actually kill, and they would not discriminate their kill. They would eventually kill their families, loved ones, relatives, friends, just as so they could quench that thirst. But then, as I've said, it is unquenchable, and so they would just keep on doing it, and it results to two things: either they kill themselves, or they would go insane once the pain and the guilt and the agony of killing the people that they love dawn upon them. Now, there's this story, the Tokogawa family story, and it all started with a grandfather. His name is Matsudaira Kiyoyasu. He was the 7th generation Mikawa Matsudaira line and the lord of the Okazaki castle. He had an arch nemesis, and his name was Oda Nobumitsu. So one time he decided in 1535, he decided that he was going to attack Oda's castle. Now, in the midst of that, there was a rumor that his right-hand man, Sadayoshi, actually betrayed him. Now, Abe Sadayoshi, actually denied it, but he knew that Kiyoyasu was still going to kill him. And so he asked his son, whose name is Matsatoyo, to just kill him. So the right-hand man said, just kill me because I don't want my boss to kill me, so that we could maintain the honor of the family. Matsatoyo, his son, actually did it. He killed his father. But when it dawned upon him what he did, he actually confronted Kiyoyasu. Now, later on, when they investigated it, they learned and realized that Masatoyo was actually using the Muramasa blade. Another one is actually another story, famous story, is about the son of Kiyoyasu. His son's name is Hirotada. So it was said that one night he woke up with an intruder in his house. So he tried to run after the intruder, but later on he realized that his lower body was soaked in blood. So when the intruder was caught by his guard or whoever, they later on learned that his name is Hachiya, and he was an assassin sent to kill Hirotada. But he failed because he was drunk. So it was a good thing that he was drunk. Had he not been drunk, then he would have succeeded in actually killing Hirotada. Now, they later on learned that he was using a Muramasa blade. Okay, the next tale is about the son of Muramasa himself. So Muramasa has a son, and his name is Ieyasu. Okay, so Ieyasu was held hostage for a night or something, but he accidentally almost killed himself with a blade. He later on found out that the blade was actually a Muramasa blade, and so it sort of confirmed his theory that the curse is actually real, and that the blade will not discriminate who to kill. It will just kill anybody, including its wielder. And so it was said that when it was his turn to take leadership of the Muramasa Blades, he decided he was not going to make use of the Muramasa Blades anymore because he wanted to stop the curse. Now, I don't know how true these stories are. I don't know if they have a historical basis, but I have always been fascinated with blacksmiths. I do believe that the creation is sort of a reflection of the creator. So regardless of what it is that you're creating, a part of you goes into it because that's your making. That the same thing is true with art. You know, a part of you goes into your art. It may not be everything that you are, but a part of you goes into it. And because I've always been fascinated with blacksmiths, because they actually use their hand and their own strength, their own courage to actually create those blades, to create knives and swords and whatever, then I do believe that a part of them actually goes into their creation. And this story is just so fascinating for me. I've always wanted to actually have a sword. I told myself one of these days when I become a billionaire, I'm going to buy the most expensive Japanese sword made by an actual blacksmith and hang it in my house because there's just so much story. It is attached, as I've said, intricately to the history and culture of Japan. I hope you enjoyed the story.